Good morning, Danny the Heck here, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, here for another exciting read of a blog. Jesam Michaels, do you remember him? The Nigerian scammer, $1.6 billion scam. That's how many receipts they have for people that have lost money to things that he was promoting. Even built him an Apple store in Nigeria, and he was flaunting his money, his lifestyle, his jets, his whatevers, everything. And then we got some videos a wee while ago of him being arrested in the airport, and he was counting out his money. We got those videos before anyone else got their hands on them, but that was showing that he was arrested. Well, recently we just got a news update about him, and he had tried to get bail and failed miserably. Yes, they won't release the bastard, but he was protected by the Nigerian police. He had armed guards protecting him, and he was untouchable. So to find out that his bail had been declined, even though he theoretically has $1.6 billion of cash flow going through his company, he has been detained without bail, which is fantastic news. So I thought, just to drive it home, we would actually show you how I got involved with Jesam Michaels. Often we'd see him in videos and he'd be singing his name like Jesam, and he'd sit there like a wee slimy caterpillar as he did his thing. So I've got this lovely photo of him here. I always like to get the real photo so you get the full screen on the screen. But the fact that he has been denied bail is absolutely fantastic. So let's see if I can find the photo. There it is. And Arbitrage, I can't even say Afriq Arbitrage System. It was really a hope for Nigerians to get themselves out of the financial strife that they're in. It was a chance for them to have their financial freedom. You just needed to believe his token. It was going to launch. There was so much information behind it all. It was absolutely pathetic. But anyway, I banged out this beautiful blog just yesterday about it because we got some information about him, and I thought we would spend the time and give you a little bit of background on it. So this isn't what I normally would do, simply because I don't normally talk about scammers after they've been in jail. And there's a reason for that. Only Bitcoin Rodney has actually been incarcerated, and they finished up doing him for drug trafficking instead because it was easier, and he'd already done drug trafficking before. But theoretically, he got arrested because his involvement in with Hyperverse and promoting unregulated cryptocurrency advice. And what he was actually doing, if you don't really know, he was money laundering. He'd got all these HU dollars, and he was creating accounts for people using his HU dollars and then getting cash from people and then handing over these accounts that he's created on the affiliate program. So he was taking cash from people for another entity that wasn't his, and then creating these accounts using worthless HU dollars that he had available, because at one stage he had $42 million worth of HU dollars available, using that money to create an account for somebody and then selling it to them for cash. And that's what they initially said they were going to do it on. Now, how do I know so much about it? Well, I sat in the meeting with the IRS, Homeland Security, and the FBI, and the head prosecutor. I've actually recorded it as well. One day I might get brave enough to play it. But what I'm getting at is that they were looking for video evidence of Bitcoin Rodney actually doing the deed, because they didn't have any. It was actually Susie who actually gave me a video of him talking about Hyperverse in a meeting with David Chandler and Troy and Marcus, who were interviewing him. And even when he was being interviewed, he was still pretty sketchy about how much money he had actually made from Hyperverse. He knew from his experience as a YouTuber to keep his mouth shut, and he did quite well. But then today we're talking about Jesam Michael. So Jesam Michael basically managed to keep everyone away from him by bribing people with money like the police and the like. He had flash cars, flash houses, nice clothes, lavish lifestyle, and he was basically untouchable. But as I said, he's been arrested, and that's why I don't normally do articles about these scammers, because very few of them actually get arrested. So let's read it with me.
Jesam Michael, crypto scammer exposed, bail denied, and victims speak out.
Yeah, so we've got some victim testimonials here that you wouldn't have heard before.
Jesam Michael, the self-proclaimed saviour of the crypto world and founder of Afriq Arbitrage System, AAS, is now facing the collapse of his empire under the weight of overwhelming fraud charges.
Yeah, he's a fraudulent guy. So now the website's been taken down. I've actually got a link opening in the background from archive.org. If you're ever looking for a website, go to archive.org.
In a massive win for scam awareness and investor justice, Jesam was officially denied bail by the Federal High Court in Abuja on May 9, 2025, after being arrested while attempting to flee Nigeria through Murtala Muhammad International Airport.
Yeah, and if you don't know much about that, we will actually show you a couple of those videos because we actually got the videos before anyone else, which is really, really cool. But you go into the shorts section of my YouTube channel, which I've gone to the wrong area. We'll go to the front door rather than the back door. And there it is. We go into the short sections. I try to do as many shorts as I can, but they're quite time consuming. But here we got Jesam Michael here. This is when he was arrested.
About to take back to Abuja before I receive the call from PSO.
Not very exciting. It's more exciting when he's counting out his money. Now, you would think...
How much is that?
The euro 1, 2, 3.
And he wants to hand his money over to the guard so he can count it, and the guard's going, no, I'm not touching your money.
1, 2.
So these are videos of him when he was first arrested. That guy's been arrested as well. So yeah, so not too exciting, but that was just proving that we have the videos ready. So he's arrested, and now let's listen to what he's been charged for. Now this is quite amazing. Now we've actually got an interesting. This is how important it is actually to, how do I say, to report these scams, because we've got two people that have complained, by the sounds of it, who invested large amounts of money. Because they have complained, he's been arrested for those two complaints. Not the $1.6 billion he's allegedly grabbed from the world, but for the two people that invested the money. As far as I'm reading this, and I think I've got this right, but this is what this will tell you.
The charges, according to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Jesam is accused of orchestrating a complex Ponzi scheme involving $844,416.36 from one investor, $10,000 from another, $590 million, linked to criminal property conversions. More than 50,000 investors across 127 countries were impacted. The total amount traced to Jesam's digital wallets exceeds $1.6 billion, with 596,000 illegal transactions recorded, confirming the truly international scope of this fraud.
And that's staggering numbers. So one investor invested $844,000. I presume he's one of the complaining ones that they will use in court. And then another one as little as $10,000, which I say a little, but in Nigeria that's probably a lot. And they're basically obviously going to press charges against him. But when they said 50,000 investors, 127 countries, what did you think of? Well, I actually think of Megan and Regan, who claim that they're in 160 countries. They're not in 160 countries. They're just using smoke and mirrors to make it sound big. $1.6 billion. And then they have tracked, because nothing can be hidden on the blockchain, 596,000 illegal transactions on crypto on the blockchain. Isn't that fantastic? So there's a way of finding out who has access to the wallet address and then tracking all the transactions of people paying money in, working in the favour of the people prosecuting Jesam Michaels. Right. So now we want to look at the bail. Why did he get declined bail?
The bail denial. Despite these facts, Jesam's legal team made a public appearance recently, claiming he is a law-abiding citizen being unlawfully detained. In a video statement,
This meeting is being
the
recorded.
counsel argued that his continued detention is a violation of his constitutional rights under Section 35 of Nigeria's constitution, and threatened to initiate contempt proceedings against the police. The case returns to court on March 3, 2025.
Right. Now, I actually am going to find that article, because if I can find it, I'm pretty sure I can. But when I saw this video, I had to laugh, because I'm thinking, oh my God, here's a guy who's representing Jesam Michaels, standing outside the court system.
And
listen to this. I won't do it all, but...
all right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Oh, is that loud enough?
Yes. My name is AAS Esquire. And as you know, I am the counsel for Obol Jesam Michael, the applicant in this suit. Obo Jesam Michael happens to be a client who is a respectable citizen of this country.
I got to there and I thought, oh my goodness. And also, I don't know if I were involved with Jesam Michael, I would be standing behind his prosecutor. Like, I mean, these people, I don't know who the guy is directly behind him, but his face looks familiar. And I'm guessing that might be the guy that was accused of stealing $86 million from them. But now we see it's a $1.6 billion scam. It's incredible. So
Law-abiding citizen,
so he's a hard-working, law-abiding citizen. That's what his defence is going to come out with.
working personnel. And we have come to court today because this is an issue that borders excuse me, on the fundamental rights of the applicant, particularly Section 35 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. And this is a situation that cannot be condoned, a situation where the rights of a person is so violated to the point where an institution of government will be adamant at complying with the orders of court.
Crazy. Anyway, when I listened to that, I just about threw up my bucket. But that was so what we did with that video, just so you want to know the high-tech stuff, I'm just putting these audio system back to 80, so when it turns on the music, we won't blow your head off. So basically they were saying that Section 35 of Nigerian Constitution, he's been treated inhumanely, blah, 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 and they're going to go back and fight that. So I got the transcript of that video, put it into ChatGPT and told it to summarize what he said rather than we didn't have to watch it. But this is my experience with him.
My experience with Jesam Michael long before his arrest. I had already heard from dozens of victims who were afraid to speak publicly. When I hosted a Zoom call to give victims a platform, Jesam's henchmen hacked the meeting, disrupted it, and flooded the live stream with bots and takedown attempts. It was the only time I've ever had to restart a Zoom meeting due to sabotage. That video quickly exploded, 1,818 comments, 300 thumbs up, and over 12,000 views in 48 hours.
Yeah, so that's what happened, and this is the actual video here. And these Nigerians, they didn't want to speak with the camera, and one guy didn't matter, but they were literally concerned that they were going to get their families beaten up and killed and all sorts of things. And we have got other evidence that when he was arrested, they said that he had ties to people that were literally murdering people that spoke out against him. So that's Nigeria, isn't it? So he had henchmen, whatever they call it. So in this video here, it was the first time ever I had actually received treatment at the other end. So I was the Zoom host, and we only had about 10 people in there. But when I initially opened up the Zoom meeting, there was about 20, 25 people. 10 of them were Tugman. And they just literally bombarded my meeting. And I had to restart my stream because I'd advertised that I was going to do a live stream for about a week before it actually happened. And all the brave people in Nigeria who had been victimized were actually, brave enough to come on. It was actually quite nice to be able to help Nigerians who have been scammed, because normally they're the scammers, aren't they? So you can see here, even in this video here, you can see that the admin, somebody's trying to get into the room. I had to get messages from people, but they had a team of people trying to stop me doing what I was doing, creating awareness about what he was doing. But if you had $1.6 million, whatever, it's quite amazing, isn't it? Anyway, let's not get involved. You can go watch that video. You can go read the blog. I'll just keep reading this.
How the scam worked, and why people fell for it. Jesam Michael didn't just lure investors with flashy returns, he sold them hope. He promised a future of financial freedom, especially to struggling Nigerians desperate for a way out of poverty. He spoke directly to those who had been let down by the system, offering what sounded like a revolutionary opportunity. A fully automated crypto trading platform that generated 1.65% daily ROI. No skills needed, no referrals required, just plug in and profit. He positioned himself as a visionary leader, someone who cared about the average Nigerian. His message was emotional, powerful, and well-targeted. In a country where millions face chronic unemployment and economic hardship, Jesam's pitch was not just believable, it was desperately needed. And it worked. People sold land, took loans, and pooled community funds to invest. He used religious rhetoric and poverty eradication language to build cult-like trust. But beneath the motivational speeches and prayer-laced live streams was a classic Ponzi scheme. The platform launched in January 2023, and just 2 weeks later, withdrawals were frozen. Jesam claimed there was a hack, urging patience. By April 2023, the site was offline. While investors were left stranded, Jesam flaunted a lavish lifestyle, posting photos of luxury cars, exotic villas, and designer clothes. He wasn't just rich, he was untouchable.
Yeah, so in Nigeria, if you've got money, you can be untouchable.
And for a while, he actually was, thanks to corrupt protection from within the Nigerian police system. Multiple investigations, including those by Sahara reporters, revealed that Jesam had deep connections with top police officers like Ifeanyi Sukwo and Arkan Fakaride. Officers allegedly took bribes to silence complaints. In some cases, victims who asked for their money back were arrested. Jesam's influence extended so far that he was referred to as a dogwu, a term of power and reverence. He used money not just to deceive the public, but to manipulate the justice system by silence and delay accountability. This wasn't just a scam, it was an exploitation of institutional weakness, economic desperation, and public trust.
Yeah, so was it Odogwu? I must use that one quite a lot. I might
Odogwu.
I'm going to definitely put that in my list of names to go into Zoom meetings with. I think that was quite good. Odogwu. Nigerians will freak out. Red flags. So what was the red flags that we may be able to glean ideas from just by looking at what he offered?
Legal red flags. Reports now confirm that Jesam obtained a SCUML certificate from the EFCC without proper checks, operated without licenses from the SEC or CB, and converted seized properties into AAS funds. He maintained cozy relationships with senior police officers, including Ifeanyi Sukwo, former SU head Arkan Fakaride, IGP monitoring unit head. Both allegedly protected Jesam from legal trouble in exchange for bribes. Victims seeking refunds were even detained.
Wow. So yeah, so it just shows corruption at the highest level, I suppose, really, isn't it? I was so glad when I heard that he'd been declined bail, because obviously so much media coverage around it, of course, and also so much money. But I said when he got arrested, somebody said, will he go to jail? And I said, well, you look at people like Richard Hart, who's from Hex, you know, those guys have been accused and they've had their cases dropped. Well, they haven't had them dropped. I don't know why, but I didn't follow it. But what I'm saying is people get arrested and or charged and not prosecuted, all types of reasons. So who knows? And very little of it seems to be happening. So as I often say, I can't stop these scammers, but they can't stop me either. Here we go. Let's go.
International crimes. Jesam also ran a fraudulent platform in the US, Cryptus OTC Trading Platform Limited COTP, which was shut down by California state regulators in 2022. He defrauded US investors and vanished after blaming technical issues and hacks.
Oh, so that's where he probably got more money from. So when you start pissing off Americans and taking Donald Trump's taxpayers' monies, he will often go after you, and that's good that they shut that down. But the lengths that they would have had to go to do that amazes me. I'm corresponding with a lot of government agents, and the amount of information and the time period it takes before they take action, I still think that they could just take people's domain names away from them, or block these domain names, or do something to stop these domain names from flourishing, because they just grow like wildfire, or a fire in a dry day with a whole lot of dry brush. They they go like wildfire. Anyway,
victim testimonies. A US victim lost $90,000 and said their mother died after being denied a refund needed for medical care. A Nigerian group lost a combined $3,500 and were blocked from Jesam's Telegram group. Jesam promised refunds, then blamed an internal hack. Classic diversion tactic.
Yeah, these were comments underneath the news article that was published about it, and I just grabbed them. And the last paragraph is this one. This one.
Justice is finally catching up with bail denied, over $1.6 billion in fraudulent transactions exposed, and multiple regulatory agencies including the SEC, CBN, EFCC, FERS, and the FBI now involved. We're finally seeing momentum. This isn't just a Nigerian scam, it's a global operation, and we're not done exposing it. Stay tuned for more updates as Jesam Michael faces the consequences of one of the biggest crypto frauds ever recorded.
Yeah, so you can see why I'm enjoying doing this one. I asked ChatGPT to help me make an image. I said, give me a photo of Jesam Michael. Here's a photo of him wearing all his gear. So he's got his gear on still. In the background, you might see a face just sitting there. That's the black man he shares the cell with. And I said, and the first picture I got was too nice. I said, no, this is a Nigerian cell. So give us an old sync and everything. It's quite good, isn't it? And there I am sitting there policing him, and he's bawling his eyes out. So it's good to see a little bit of justice on that there. Now, about the author, that's me. I'm the publisher. I'm not the content creator, as they say, but I use ChatGPT to gather a lot of my information, put it together with all the information I had. But you can't deny the video at the top here where we were helping and giving support to Nigerians. And we obviously had that meeting closed down by Jesam Michaels. And not only that, that video, it received 1,800 comments within like 1,400 hours. They're all bots. We got 300 thumbs up. They're all bots. And we got 1,200 views within 48 hours. I don't get that type of traffic on my YouTube channel. But he's trying to sabotage this video, even been launched in the first place, which is quite amazing. So I've been featured in Bloomberg, news.com.au, Press, the Stuff newspaper here in New Zealand, the Guardian newspaper in Australia, ABC News in Australia, New York Times, Radio New Zealand, and the Targo Times articles where I've been featured, showing the lengths that I will go to stop these bottom feeders like Jesam Michael. And when they are in prison, it is nice to know that there has been justice. I know there'll be a lot of Nigerian people actually hurting because of the actions and the greed of this one particular person. One person can make such a big difference. So, you know, I'm just here to publish a blog. So I hope you enjoyed the blog. I'm just doing a wee short video here where I just want to show that there's financial opportunities left, right and centre. Don't fall victim to them. I'm sick of picking people up off the bottom of the cliff. I want to be at the top of the cliff, diverting you away from the people who are throwing you off the cliff. The people who are throwing you off the cliff are not just doing that, they're fleecing your wallet as they throw you off the financial freedom cliff. And a lot of the authorities around the world, and I'm talking about the police, the media, are talking about the people at the bottom of the cliff. I want to be at the top of the cliff with the gangsters, head on head. Me, Jesam Michael, bang, he went after me, bang, he's in jail, bang. $1.6 billion scammed from one guy. Unreal money. And that's why they do it, because it's, you know, it's the power of global exposure. I've got an investment opportunity. My mate says it's real. You invest, you lose. Don't do it. Hope you enjoyed the small video explaining my blog, my picture. I'm Danny DeHeck, aka the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, here to name and shame anyone running or promoting a Ponzi scheme or a scam. I'll see you in the next video.